Delicious espresso. Is Marin Cilic unbeatable at this tournament, at the 2018 Australian Open? I know some of you out there are laughing at that idea, but Cilic does look very good, and I'm starting to hear people say things that sound a whole lot like he's unbeatable. Also, the women's finals are set, and this is a really tough one to pick, not just because it's hard to figure out which game will prevail, but I think it's really tricky to figure out who do you like more. These are two of the most likable players that I can think of. I've really enjoyed watching both of them over the years, and of course, they've both dealt with so much heartache. They've been #1 in the world, but they've never been champions. Sure, they've won some of these smaller, lower tier tournaments, but when you are #1 in the world and you've never won a major, you've never been a true champion. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis, where the cup is small, so you know the episode's going to be small today, but don't worry, we're still going to get a lot of good stuff in here. So like I said, two #1s in the world, Simona Halep, Carolina Wozniacki, as they called out to her in 2008. I was at the US Open in 2008. I saw Wozniacki. Man, I must have been, how old was I back then? Like 22. Wozniacki, I guess, was a little younger than me. I think she's like a couple years younger than me, maybe. So she's like 20 or 19. And we were on the stadium that was like the sidecar. I can't even think of the name now. They got rid of it. But it was the sidecar stadium, the grandstand that was attached to Armstrong Stadium. So I'll never forget it because that stadium was really cool. Like, you didn't have to worry about being roasted by the sun because you're like, it's like the motorcycle with the little sidecar. Oh, I got to find a clip of that. And, you know, the little grandstand, you're like the little sidecar shaded by Armstrong Stadium. And, of course, when you're on Armstrong Stadium, you can go up there and look down at the little stadium. So it was really cool. I wish they somehow could have kept it at the US Open. Have a lot of good memories there. But, yeah, so I'll never forget seeing Wozniacki against this lady who still plays, but you haven't seen as much of her for sure, Kai Kanepi. And that was a long time ago, and I was just sitting there falling in love with Wozniacki. I just thought, she is so wonderful and so beautiful too. And here we are almost, 10 years later. Well, the US Open will be 10 years later, and she's in another final. And I think this time, if I have to pick, I would say Wozniacki is going to be the one who comes away with it. But then again, you know, Halep has shown so much heart and so much fight. Like, who watched the Kerber match? That was incredible. You know, Wozniacki obviously came back from the dead. You know, she was down 5-1 and came back. So she had to do a lot of work to stay alive in this tournament. But Halep had to save match points. And when you go deep in that third set, you go beyond 6-6, you know, you go beyond the 6-all score, and you got match points to save. Like, that's the scariest thing you can imagine as a tennis player. So that's incredible that she's able to fight that off and be the champion. But it wasn't like she blew Kerber away. It was like she outlasted Kerber. And I feel like Wozniacki, especially on the serve, is generating a little more firepower. It's like she's worked on her game so that she can produce a more aggressive ball. And Halep, you know, obviously, you know, she can do her damage. But I feel like Wozniacki will have the edge, maybe not be as exhausted. You know, a much easier match. They're replaying it right now on Tennis Channel. And Wozniacki's had easier matches than Halep. I feel like Wozniacki might have more energy in the tank. But anyways, you know, it'd be better to do a whole video dedicated to previewing the women's final tomorrow. So that's all I want to say about the women's final. I just want to know what you guys think. To me, this is the battle of two of the most likable players in the WTA, and it's an interesting matchup. Like, this is a final that I think a lot of us can get really excited about, which is good, because we don't always have that in women's tennis. I mean, we don't always have that in men's tennis, but, you know, with guys like Roger and Rafa, there's usually a lot of excitement going into finals. I mean, most of us, we don't care who Roger plays. In fact, we'd like it if he played someone who had no business being in the final and everyone expected a very easy victory. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, you see Serena's going into the final in a mismatch where you just know, well, you know, I love Serena and all, but she's going to blow that lady away and win that match easy. And so there's not as much excitement. Here, I feel like we got some more excitement because it's like very likable players, very accomplished players have been #1 in the world, no majors. So very interesting matchup. Comment below. Curious to hear your thoughts on the women's final. Who do you think can come through that? They both have so much heart and fight. You know, part of me wants to say Halep will fight harder, but Wozniacki fights just as hard. And like I said, she came back from the dead, 5-1 down. I mean, that's as good as it gets. 5-0 down? I think that's the only way to top that. So let's talk a little bit about Cilic and Edmund. Like I said, title of the video, is Cilic unbeatable? Obviously, I don't think that. I think Federer can beat him in straight sets. To me, and some of you have commented below in previous videos, and I love seeing that because it's exactly what I've been thinking. This doesn't remind me of, what was it, 2014 U.S. Open? Is that the one we're thinking of where Cilic wins? Was it 2013 or 14? I can't remember right now. But you get the point. A lot of people are comparing it to that. Oh, Djokovic is out. Nishikori, that's easy. Cilic, pfft, he's a choker. Federer's already won it. Give Federer the trophy. And then we had, for Fed heads, one of the worst days of our lives. So yeah, I'll never forget that one. And I was just devastated, obviously. I know a lot of Fed heads were. But, I was happy for Cilic. He's a likable guy. And he's one of the most talented guys on tour. And he's also been one of the guys who's been most held back by his mental game. So we have a thing, we call city finals here, and I'm sure you guys got it somewhere else. Comment below if you live in an area with a really good tennis playing community and tell me about it. I'm curious to hear. Maybe I can move there one day, but I think I'm staying here despite the horrible humidity we get when it gets hot. It's bad. But yeah, I love the tennis. We have city finals, and I mean, for every level of play, men's tennis, women's tennis, mixed doubles, we got it all here, and everyone wants to win a city finals. You get like a big trophy, and it's really exciting. And I have never advanced past the quarterfinals on my way to a city final, and I've done it at almost every level of play. And I've choked. I've dealt with mental issues because you want it so bad, and then some people just get crippled by the fear of thinking, what if I screw this up? And once you focus on what if I screw this up, it's like a guarantee that you will screw it up. So I understand Cilic has done that. I feel for the guy because it's a horrible feeling. It's really hard to recover from after the fact when you've screwed it up and blown another chance. I'll never forget one time I was this close to winning. I think we were up. It was in doubles. And this might actually been, I've made it to semifinals in doubles, but singles I've never made it past quarter. Me and my partner were up like 6-0. 4-1, and then they started doing I formation and weird double stuff, and I totally blew it. I choked. I couldn't hit a ball in play. I got so scared, and I'm lucky that my doubles partner, I've told you guys about him before, B Money, he actually sent me a picture I could use next time I talk about B Money. His name's Brian. I call him B Money because he's money with the forehand. You can always count on him, but even in that match, he couldn't save us as bad as I was playing. So, long story short, I feel for Cilic, and I also recognize that he's moving past that, but he was still a little choky, a little. I don't like to use the C word. I don't take that lightly. He was minuscule levels of choky at the World Tour Finals. That wasn't that long ago. And, of course, Wimbledon. So a lot of you think about the U.S. Open where he beat Fed. I'm thinking more Wimbledon. Let's not jinx it. Roger must beat Chung tonight. And I'm not going to talk about that anymore today. I'm just going to say I have good feelings on that one. And I think if Roger can return and serve like he did against the Birdman, he'll be fine. But can he beat Cilic? So here's what I noticed about Kyle Edmund and Cilic. Like what I said with Nadal. Nadal kept the forehand floating up for Cilic to attack. Nadal's forehand, it's going to be hard for him to tweak that because he's always hitting the big whipping forehand that bounces up. And Kyle Edmund's forehand kind of sits up a little bit. And on some surfaces, that's good. Even at the U.S. Open, that might work better. But here, it's the lower bounce. It's like Wimbledon here. And that just sits up perfectly in the Cilic strike zone. You might get a little higher than the Cilic strike zone to make him slightly uncomfortable in a higher bouncing court. But here, it's just right. And he wasn't able to make an adjustment. I said Nadal now, his backhand, the flatten out backhand, the slice backhand, he had success against Cilic with that, and maybe if he was healthy, that would have helped him win that match. I very much believe that, actually. I think Rafa probably would have won that match. And I think there is no one better equipped than Roger to take advantage of that kind of stuff, because Roger's slice, it's people, well, maybe you do understand. I don't know. Do you understand? Comment below. Do you see it? Do you see it in the matches? Federer's slice is so much more capable of doing damage, especially to big guys, because it's low and it's aggressive and it bites and it's tough. It's on you quick and it's low. It's a weird combo, especially in this league where everyone hits this big topspin forehand. That's what you see most of the time. Big serve, big topspin, bouncing forehand. So Cilic has developed this rhythm, and he's clubbing those balls. And I think Roger, his forehand will not sit as high, and especially Roger's backhand. He'll be able to use that slice very effectively. Roger's slice is so much more effective than Dimitrov's, than Rafa's, especially more effective than Kyle Edmund. So Roger will have a lot more options, and if he's playing well, Cilic will produce a higher level than Berdych. I think so. I mean, that's the way it looks so far. So we can expect Roger to have a tougher time. He's going to have more difficult things coming at him than what we saw from Cilic. But Cilic and Berdych, they both can get a little, just a little choky. So Roger's going to have a lot of confidence going into that. I think Chung is more of an unknown, so be on the lookout for that match tonight. That is going to be must-see TV. Cross your fingers that Roger's able to find a way to get out of that in straight sets, because that will enable him to go into the finals without dropping a set, just like at Wimbledon. And when you have that many parallels, even Cilic will let it start getting into his head. He'll start thinking about Wimbledon last year. And when that happens, well, things start looking a lot better for Roger. All right, that's it for me today. Like I said, today I was going to keep the video very short. I got some ideas for a lot of videos. I'm not going to promise anything, but I will promise you this. Me and Pete are going to go live with kind of like a trivia game show before the final, before the men's final. 1 hour before the start time of the, hopefully, Federer-Cilic final. That's what we're hoping for, but you never know. Chung, got to respect the Chung. So comment below. That's what I really want your comments on. Should we do it earlier? I'm confident I can try to go to bed at like 8 p.m. I don't know if I'll sleep, but at least I can lay there and save my energy. So comment below, is that a good time? Do you like that? 2:30 a.m., 1 hour before the match. How many people are going to be up watching the final live? That's what I really want to know too. Comment below on that. So yeah, if a lot of people are going to be up around 2:30, I think we're going to do it. We're going to have some prizes to give away. You can guarantee we'll give away some Fedal posters. By the way, I did the Fedal contest a few episodes ago. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to go through everyone's answers. I'm pretty sure Ollie Payton won the Fedal poster from the other day, but I got to check the answers. But Ollie seems to know tennis pretty well, so I'm pretty confident Ollie got it. So, if you're upset that you didn't get to win it, get your keyboards, study up on what's been going on at this Australian Open. We're going to mostly ask Australian Open related questions. Of course, we'll ask some other stuff too. And you will have chances to win fabulous prizes from Crunch Time Coaching, Coffee Break Tennis. Comment below. Does that sound good? 2:30 a.m., 1 hour before the men's final. Also, let me know what you think about this women's final. And is Cilic unbeatable? See ya!